Hi guys, before we begin I just wanted to send out a big thank you to all of my subscribers. This channel is new and I just want you to know I appreciate everybody who has come along on this journey so far. These are not clickbait, they're not regurgitated material, and it takes a little longer for you to watch sometimes, but yeah, I just want you to know that it's very much appreciated. Also, you may notice the new setup. It's really easier indoors, especially in winter. I've still got to get some more lighting to cover up my ugly mug, but I'm sure I'll be outside again soon for you. You may notice one thing that's always changing behind me from video to video. See if you can guess and tell me below where you think the objects come from each time you see a video. Some of the countries will be obvious, so for fuck's sake, don't say America. Guess a state, or if it's Africa, pick a country. All right, back to the video. Well, passion is one thing, but how long do you chase your dreams? What about the costs, both financial and mental? When do you give up? What reasons do you have to give up? Am I deluding myself? This video will answer those questions and also answer some of the darker and more realistic parts of that journey in an honest way. My journey may have seemed like it was easy. Maybe to some watching the videos you felt it might have been lucky, or that it just fell into place. I tried to convey the less glamorous, depressing, even the more mundane periods in my life. Of course, making it watchable means you can't include everything. And maybe you feel like life hasn't dealt you a hand that gives you the ability to chase your passions. You might consider it monetary dispensation, cash. Maybe you consider it popularity, power, or fame. I wouldn't say any of these are the overriding reasons for succeeding in your passions. For all of us, it should be about happiness, that fleeting moment we all talk about, but we struggle to find. And let's be clear here, I'm not talking about the sort of happiness you get when we take a holiday or we buy a new car. These are temporary, and like the new car smell, they disappear very, very quickly. In my video, Coming Home the Long Way, I was living in Vietnam, and it became clear early on that renewing our visas was going to be a problem. At times, all we had to do was simply go into the immigration office. At other times, we had to travel out of the country. At times, visas were for 3 months, for 6 months, for 1 month. But it was a nightmare, which meant sometimes our employers were telling us that we were covered and not to worry. And then at other times they were saying, you've got to leave immediately. You're living in the country illegally. Often the day of, they would say to us. It was a constant worry, and certainly I think the biggest obstacle of living there. So I would sit on the balcony at night after work with a beer, and when these problems came about, it always came down to that question: am I happy? Where would I rather be? Would I rather be doing this or something else? And every time, at least for 3 years, the answer was yes, I was. And that just meant getting on with it. How you view the satisfaction with your present job or place in the world will affect not just your mental health, but your physical health as well. It's paramount in our modern, isolating, often social media driven upside down world. Do you no longer feel that passion, either because you've completed the goal that you set out to do, or because you've learned as much as you wanted to know? If the answer is no, then your passion remains. Work out what else it is you want to see, what else it is you want to achieve. If it's yes, don't hang on just because of the fear of losing your purpose, because of that fear of having to give up on that particular passion. I've done this, and going through the motions just because there's nothing else out there to replace it. A little time and space is often needed. I know I've taken years at times. The everyday will drive you to find more options, to stumble across a new passion. There's nothing like a little boredom to motivate you. Motivation is the key to success in pursuing your passions. I think it was the main reason I pushed myself, even though I don't consider myself ambitious at all. Everyone focuses on ambition, which is deceiving. It's actually your passions that drive your ambition. Otherwise, it's as vague as the memes I mentioned in the last video. Dream big, the sky's the limit. Self-belief is so important, and they're not just words. They're born out of your actions.
I've made the wrong choices in my life. I turned left when I should have turned right. I know what my weaknesses are. I don't think Psylocke could take me on a tour of them.
If you just unbend at all.
And be brainwashed by this con man.
I was wrong. This con man took away my pain.
Damn it, Bones, you're a doctor. You know that pain and guilt can't be taken away with the wave of a magic wand. They're the things we carry with us, the things that make us who we are.
Once you've found some satisfaction out of pursuing your passion, the feeling, it's not going to go away. The next time you're at a low point, time poor or out of money, you'll find yourself saying, hang on, I've done this before. I can do it. Easy? No. But if you're chasing your passion, it'll give you more confidence every single time you try. The old saying is true. It's the journey, not the destination. I'll tell you from experience that I have rarely fulfilled my goals, but I've loved every moment of the struggle to get there and the milestones along the way. Other pressures, they'll always come along for the average guy, from relationships, work, family, money, but that's life. There is no one to bail you out. Whether you do the daily grind or not, they will still always exist. Your question is simply, do I want to live my life or do I want to live someone else's? You only get one. Have you ever noticed that time moves faster when you're doing the everyday grind? I've felt like years go by when I'm working at home or living in suburbia and just paying the bills. Eating chips and lying on the sofa when I get home, checking my media accounts or watching the Idiot Tube. Time just got away from me. It will, and so will your passions. When you're pursuing something you love, the memories, they're going to be fresh and they're going to last with you until the day you die. As one of my favorite climbers who scaled Everest in 2011 and K2 at the age of 58 in 2014 says, at the end of every one of his YouTube clips,
climb on. This is Alan. And remember, memories are everything.
Always on your mind and never enough. Don't sweat it is the only advice I can give. I never wanted to own a property. Why? Because the flexibility of renting meant that I could move on and pursue my passions, one of which was travel, of course, and I could do it much more easily. I kept my stuff to a minimum, which I was proud to say, by the time I'd moved here, fit into 4 boxes. I wonder how much crap you have accumulated that you haven't even looked at for years. I'm always staggered watching shows like American Pickers and seeing these guys my age who had barns full of rusting hulks and old tools. And they would say, you can't have them. One day, I'm going to restore them. One day, I'm going to build a museum for all my junk. Yeah, security does funny things to the monkey brain. 2 pieces of great advice my parents gave. The first, I think I mentioned a long time ago, was education. It's a fallback, even if you don't have a passion at the end of your job. As I said, make it something that is easily transferable from place to place, company to company, country to country. The second piece of advice was to buy a house, which really translates to security. And it's, sometimes you have to think, how much longer will I have to work? How long will someone want to employ me? Now, how you build your investments is up to you. I'm not a gambler, so I'm too stupid and I have no passion for stocks or for investments. They scare the crap out of me and they seem like too much of an investment, but that's your choice. But I never bought my first property until I was in my early 40s, and it didn't mean the end of my life. There is time. Don't waste all your good years stressing. You can't do at 60 what you can do at 25. They say you can, but look at the cruise ship clientele if you want to see what most people are doing at that age. You're only young once. So we've established with some perseverance and passion, we can live a life that's more fulfilling as the average guy or girl. But why do we have to live this way? What if the world was different? What if the world was set up for our passions to really take off and to embrace our enthusiasm for change? Well, my last video of the 3 Ps will explore that topic. It's a new idea. I'd argue it's an inevitable outcome for you, me, for all of us, considering this endless cycle of wars, environmental destruction, of empires rising and falling. Please come along for the ride. Till then, you know the drill. Have fun.